All right, we're here with John Nack in his office right now, and he's holding something on his leg here. What is this?
This is a small bat. It's a Louisville Slugger, actually. It's my engineer be good stick. So I like to keep this around the office and just sort of menacingly tap it without explanation. And this doesn't actually work, but I like to think that it does, and so, you know, I've got these smashed up cardboard boxes behind me, and I don't know. Theoretically, they'll build my features if I do this. Mostly, it's just actually a friend of ours gave this to us when our little son was born about 6 months ago. So it's she's a great baseball fan and figured every little guy should have his own Louisville Slugger. So thanks again, Gina. That's what this is actually about. But I like to keep it as a prop around the office.
So an aspiring Mark McGuire, huh?
Yes, or just aspiring school principal who walks the halls with a bat. That kind of guy.
Ah, so it obviously worked because CS4 is finally here.
Yes, it is. So if I'm a little bit slow on my answers, it's because I haven't slept very much. Burning the candles a little at both ends a little too much. But yes, it's been a great ride and a lot of late stage heroics, as it always is, to bring the ship into port. But yeah, we're really excited. It's sometimes you think the goal line will never come, but here we are.
So what is the big thing about CS4? What's the biggest thing you're most excited about?
Well, with every release of Photoshop, we try to have a mix of really big things, you know, sort of oh my god, gee whiz stuff, and then at least as many, if not more, just little tiny tweaks and things just, you know, not necessarily more stuff, just done better. We always try to strike that balance, excuse me. So with this release, on the hopefully oh my god front, we've got content-aware scaling, which is pretty cool. So I'm sure folks by now have seen that demoed online. So you can intelligently resize things and have Photoshop actually pay attention to the areas that are things are probably of most interest. So that's a pretty killer technology, and it's integrated at a very low level in Photoshop, so you can use it all over. We've got some great things like extended depth of field, so you can actually merge together multiple images and make one very, very crisp image from the results. Great advances around 3D and Photoshop Extended. But back on the other end of the spectrum, literally from the pixel level upward, we've refined Photoshop and enhanced how it works. So, you know, back in the day, there's all these rules of thumb, one of which was, well, you have to view your image at 100% or 50% or 25, some power of 2. It can't be like 33 or 66, because it'll be jagged on screen. Well, that's a thing of the past now. And it's seemingly such a minor point, but it's just an example of us trying to go back and really polish a lot of long-standing stuff. We get that benefit through OpenGL, so now we actually take much better advantage of your graphics card. So that's a whole new frontier for us, and it's really just a first step in terms of all the things we can do over time. And then there's tons of other little things, you know, everything from making adjustments non-modal, which, you know, really wasn't a small matter in terms of engineering, but is a very nice refinement, to things like having a live preview on the clone stamp, being able to drag, resize your brush tips. Oh, and the other big thing, I think the team would kill me or laugh if I didn't mention this as something I'm hugely excited about. So for literally 8 years at Adobe, I've been pushing to put flash panels into Adobe products. And we did it in my first product all these years ago, and then, you know, it kind of went away for a while. And now that Adobe and Macromedia are one company, we can finally make it easy to extend Photoshop just by writing SWF files. So anybody who can write Flash or Flex can actually now extend the Photoshop authoring environment. And we even have a little tool called Configurator, so guys like me who are not good at coding can just drag and drop sort of a set of Legos to make your own panels. And so the upshot of all this is that we're trying to make it more that Photoshop is the tool for you, and you can get rid of anything that isn't relevant, and you can bring forward just the stuff you care about. And the great thing about Photoshop is, you know, it's got tools for every different kind of digital imaging. The downside to that is there's a ton there, and it can be kind of intimidating, and it can be kind of hard to find the one thing you want if it's amidst, you know, 20 other things. Configurator and Flash panels make it very easy to say, let me just go and cherry pick the couple things I care about, glue them together, and then make that a custom interface. And even better, you can take that and wrap it up as a little package, and you can email that to friends, you can post it on your website. And so we want it to be very easy for authors and trainers to basically remix Photoshop and then share what they've done. So I'm really excited about that.
Well, that sounds really exciting. It's going to help a lot of new people get into Photoshop, and it's also going to help other people discover features that they may have been intimidated to dig for.
Yeah, and we want to make sure that PhotoshopCAFE is right there, creating some great remixes, and I think it's a really cool way for authors and trainers to take their voice and actually put it right into the product. My friend Morty Golding used to work on the Illustrator team, and when I'd have an Illustrator question, I'd go upstairs and talk to Morty, and I'd work away, and he'd be over my shoulder and show me something. Well, of course, he's not physically here now, and I thought, well, how could I, have Morty like right in Illustrator, right in Photoshop with me? The goal with all this is to really start connecting the millions of people who use Adobe tools right through the tools, so that you can just think, how does this thing work, and instantly have an answer right there. So it's just the first step, I think, in what'll be a pretty powerful transformation of how the environment works.
Yeah, that's exciting. There's a lot of possibilities, and of course, I'm very excited about that myself, and we've got lots of plans for adding a lot of these panels, for different people to learn some of these tools and workflows and stuff. It's exciting.
And if not, I've got the bat, so.
Yeah, well, the bat kind of makes me it motivates me,
yes,
because it does look kind of menacing.
That's right, though let me check that in my luggage, so I'll come.
Although, if you don't watch that, cricket bat would probably hurt.
Yeah, and this is a small bat, but it would hurt. It would do its thing.
So tell me, John, once you've, had a vacation and some sleep and a couple of hot meals, what's in the future?
It's a good question. What's in the future? Cocoa is in the future. One of the things that we were able to do this time in Photoshop is deliver the first 64-bit version, which is really exciting. And so that means that if you're using really large images, you can now allocate tons of memory, beyond 4 gigs, to Photoshop. So that's it's great. Unfortunately, it's only on Windows at the moment, because there is no Carbon 64 support on the Mac now, and so we need to port Photoshop to Cocoa. So that's going to be a huge effort. We've told people we're going to do it, but it's what we got to do, and we'll make it happen. So that's certainly on the roadmap. Beyond that, I really want to continue what we're doing. I want to to take the concept of workspaces, customizability, sharing, much further. So we can make Photoshop really feel hand-tailored to not just to you as a user, but to literally exactly what you're doing right now. And so kind of like Lightroom does, where you've got these modules where you can say, hey, I'm in the library, I only want to see library stuff. You hit G and you're there. You hit D and you're in Develop. I think that kind of switching and streamlining is really powerful. And we can build that on top of Photoshop's general purpose nature without taking any of that away. So I think that's promising. As I say, we've now built this foundation around the graphics card in OpenGL in CS4. I was just over at an NVIDIA conference, looking at all these incredible cards and gaming systems. And we've met with AMD and all these vendors. That our minds fill up very quickly with ideas on how we could leverage that power. Even 2 years ago, what your graphics card could do is a fraction of what is possible today. So we're really looking carefully at a whole new set of drawing and painting and image editing experiences we can enable by taking better advantage of that. So I think all those things will happen, and beyond that, we'll keep plugging away, trying to bring in the very best imaging technology developed at universities, developed both inside and outside the company. We've got some really cool stuff in the labs. And in doing all this, we won't forget about those seemingly small but super important things too. I always say that when I first started in Photoshop, Photoshop 7 had just shipped, and the 2 biggest responses we got to demos were, one, the healing brush, which was this totally amazing image science breakthrough, years of planning and research. The other thing, which got equally big response, was when you could double-click the layer name in the Layers panel and just rename it right there. And right, so you're nodding and smiling, and what's funny about that is it literally does not save you any clicks. It's exactly the same number of clicks and exactly the same results, but it feels more natural and it feels better. And there's a lot to be said for going in and just making those little nips and tucks that make the environment feel like that's Photoshop. You know, there's everything else, and yeah, maybe there's like some online image editor and it kind of looks Photoshop, but it's not Photoshop. You know, you scratch the surface and you know that that kind of fit and finish is what makes the app what it is. So we'll always strive to keep polishing those things.
Nice. So it makes it feel like driving a BMW versus a Skoda, if you know what a Skoda is.
I know of them, but I've never, I don't know if I've had the pleasure would be the right word, but never driven.
Well, they've come a long way.
Okay, good. Yeah.
All right. Well, hey, thanks, John, for your time. And I know you're a very busy man. And
sleepy man.
Sleepy.
Yeah.
So I'll let you go and get on with your day. Hey, thanks for taking the time to talk.
Okay, thanks, Colin.